How to deal with difficult coworkers. Hello and welcome to Communication Psychology. My name is Gerhard. I'm a psychologist from Hamburg, Germany, specialized in communication psychology in international, intercultural, and multilingual contexts. This topic pops up almost every time I visit a new company. We have at least one very difficult coworker causing us lots of trouble. Now, trigger alarm. We are not talking about sexual harassment or physical or verbal abuse or even violence. In such cases, it should be clear what to do and what the situation is. We are talking here about so-called difficult people that somehow create lots of misunderstandings and conflicts within a team that somehow seem to sap out the energy of our team. Now, once again, trigger alarm. We should start analyzing the general context where we are living, because the immediate reaction we have is, well, we need to fix that person. Now, if we think a bit logically, this person probably has a significant other, a husband, a wife, a partner, parents, close relatives, friends. And if this person is such a difficult person, what do you think? Are those people close to the person successful? Would they be successful in changing the person? And if even the wife or the husband is not able to change that difficult person, our chances as co-workers are even much lower. So it may be unpleasant, but that would be really an illusion to think that we can achieve something what a husband and a wife cannot achieve. Now, let's talk about the times we are living in. Probably you're living in a country with increasing polarization and on an increasing list of topics: climate change, migration, education, vaccines, transportation. Should we ban certain types of cars? Should we impose tempo limits, ban smoking, ban certain activities, gun control, free speech, and so on and so forth? Now, the big question is, are we better equipped by our schooling especially than previous generations to manage disagreements and conflicts about those topics or not? My hypothesis is that no, we are less well equipped, which can be seen by the way people argue on social media. So my hypothesis is, and please contradict me, that we are increasingly separating ourselves from other people. So on the one hand, the internet is a place where we can become exposed to different opinions, and it's a good medium to exchange opinions and argument. But reality is, I believe, that we are increasingly segregating into groups of like-minded people. So before establishing friendships or social contact, we would check first how they are on a certain list of issues, and then we socialize with them. So also at school, and it may be exaggerated, it is exaggerated, but we are increasingly learning what the right opinions are at school, and not necessarily how to arrive to right decisions and opinions. And it's more an emotional question, even if we discuss, than a logical question. So at school, we probably want to make sure we have a similar opinion as a teacher, or that we are within the range of allowable opinions, but not necessarily do we get logical tools on how to defend our own positions and how to argue rationally with other people. So it's topics that were intellectual some years ago, they are becoming emotional. Now, why wasting our time discussing this? The issue is that if this happens in the area of public policy and society at large, there are great chances that this may happen at the workplace too. That is, issues that were just facts, or they were just rational discussions some years ago, have become polarized and emotionalized at work too. So it may well be that a lot of those conflicts and difficult people, it stems simply from the fact that they hold opinions on the job situation you are in that you don't hold, and because we are no longer accustomed to rationally argue calmly with people about our opinions, then this is transferred to an emotional arena, to an emotional plane. If you observe how this happens on policy issues publicly, and in talk shows very often, on many topics, it's just name calling. So the other side is sick, deranged, and it's quite logical to assume that we adopt the same thing at our workplace and call the other person that has a different opinion just sick and deranged. So we should clear that too. And then before engaging in any kind of name calling and therapeutic activity to fix the other person, we should make a clear assessment of what is happening. And we have the 4 squares of a message presented in different videos, like what are the facts, and then what is it with the other person, what's his or her situation, then what's about the relation, and what does the other person want. And very often we mix things up, so it would be quite helpful if you try to clarify what is really if you take out all the emotions, what is the objective issue the other person wants to communicate. And maybe you haven't even asked that person. Then in what situation is the other person in? So maybe we often don't know enough about the people we are surrounded, even our spouses or children, and because we assume we know, as in political discussions too. So we blame the voters of the opposite party as stupid, and we don't even know if they are stupid and deranged, so why should I even waste my time trying to understand their position? And again, this is probably the same we behave at our workplaces. So we immediately label somebody as difficult. So if he's difficult, why should I take my time to understand? Maybe he's passing through a difficult situation at home. We don't know. Maybe he has an illness or some personal concern, and that affects his behavior at work. And so we need to first uncover what is it with this person. Then about the relationship, maybe you and that person have different definitions of how your relationship should be. And here you would be helped by meta communication. So if you talk about this openly, like how do you see our relationship? How do you think it should be? Maybe that person at a previous job was accustomed to a different type of structure of how we communicate one with another. Maybe you have an office where everybody can come into each other's offices and interrupt each other. Maybe that person was accustomed to a more formalized structure, or he or she feels that you are not addressing her or him formally enough, or on the other way around, also not friendly enough. And yeah, it would be helpful sometimes to know what does the other person really want. And we will be surprised that it may be something different than we expect. Because people, and especially in our polarized world, often they are afraid of communicating openly. So they are not always telling you what their cause is, what they really want from you to do. And so it's under many layers of other information, and we need to uncover this. So that would be the first step. We will do other videos, but before engaging in some kind of name calling and fixing, try to understand really, because now you may say, well, why should I do this job? It's he, the person who it's him, the difficult person, and we are having the trouble with him. But imagine once again a bit different topic. Like imagine you are a policeman. Well, you cannot wait until all people you interact with as a policeman learn proper communication. It's you as a policeman who needs to do the work in the first place, to even if the other persons will not never change. Also here, it's my job as an employee to work on my communication skills with difficult people. I cannot expect customers, for example, to change first. And the same in a company. It's like the cards we are dealt with. If we want to leave, then yes, it's our decision. We are not obliged to work with those people. So a certain previous investment of our side, I think it's quite reasonable. Especially because after we do an assessment of all those 4 sides of the other person, that we may come to know that it's not really that he or she is such a difficult person, but we haven't understood the situation enough. Now, see you in the next video. Please write your comments, and I wish you much success with your communication. If you want me to give initial talk on communication psychology in your company, online or offline in Europe, please contact me. Bye-bye.